The thing about aliens is, as far as I'm aware, they are the first occult that we've ever had for The Sims 4. Well, technically, ghosts were the first occult, but aliens were like the first proper occult, because I feel like ghosts don't really count. The Sims 4 is very bad at first. The first expansion pack was bad, the first game pack was bad, the first stuff pack was bad, and the first occults were bad. So the only interaction that you can really do as an alien is basically just disguise yourself in human form. And I can do things like analyze the personality of another sim to learn their traits. But you can do that as a normal human sim just by clicking get to know, so it's nothing really special. And you can do things like discuss weird atmospheric pressure, but like, what does that actually mean? It doesn't mean anything. You just like have a random conversation with a sim. It's no different to having like a normal chat with a sim. According to the Sims fandom website, these are all of the different things that alien sims can do, which looks like a lot, but it's not much. It's only like 8 things. Do you know what I mean? I also find the disguise thing a bit weird because yeah, alien sims can disguise themselves, but why? Yeah, I guess it's cool. Like, you can completely change the disguise, so you can literally change everything about the sim, including like their eyes, their hair, their nose, literally everything you can change. So in that sense, it is pretty cool because you can basically create an entire new sim. But it's not like other sims get scared of your alien sim's human appearance. So what's the point in having a human appearance change? You can't go off in a UFO. Like, it's just not deep. And because of that, we are going in deep. I didn't even give the categories fun names. What am I on about? All right, S stands for sultry. A stands for anal beads. Oh my god, am I going to get demonetized if I say anal beads on YouTube? Maybe I should not. A stands for absolutely cool. That's a family-friendly phrase. Absolutely cool. B stands for basic bitch. I feel like I can get away with that phrase and YouTube won't demonetize me for it. C stands for, well, there is a phrase beginning with C, and yes, that will get me demonetized. C stands for craptacular, and D, I want D to stand for literally traumatizing, but literally begins with an L, not a D. Disgusting. Disgusting! That's right, aliens are disgusting because they are basically the worst occult. I apologize, aliens, I very much apologize. So, ghosts. I think ghosts are pretty cool. They don't really have any like special interactions that they can do themselves. They can talk about death and they can like pass through other sims, which I guess is a pretty cool feature. I also like how ghosts change their color depending on their emotional state. So thank you very much Sims fandom, we are using you all today. But you can see every single color is associated with a different trait. I think it's a cool idea. And do you know what? I'm learning a lot about ghosts from this website. For example, ghosts who die by overheating in the sauna will absorb puddles. Ghosts who die by overheating during hot temperatures have an interaction to warm up sims. Ghosts who die by fire can stomp the ground and cause a fire where they stand when they're angry. You see, these are the small details which I like, because we have to remember that ghosts in The Sims 4 are a base game thing. So unfortunately, when it comes to base game things, the Sims team are not very good at updating them and making them really, really in depth. But the fact that they have, and they've updated some other ones for different packs, is really cool. There are also other small details. For example, you can see this ghost here in this screenshot has a meteor in them, and that's because the ghost died of a meteor. As far as I'm aware, if they drown, I think they have a fish inside their chest. Like, it's just such a random but cool feature. Ghosts, you are literally sultry in The Sims 4. Mermaids. So one cool thing about mermaids is that they can literally change the weather. I can call a thunderstorm. My sim will literally call a thunderstorm to happen. So I like that there's that cross-pack compatibility with the seasons pack. I will give that credit. That's a pretty cool ability. Although now it's kind of pissing me off. I feel like we should change the weather back to normal. Quick, where's my MC command center? I guess the mermaids are pretty cool. The thing is, you can't really do anything with them outside of Solani. In terms of their abilities, the only things they can do themselves is weather-related abilities, which is kind of strange. If we get other sims involved, we can do some random things, such as a siren's call. Although I really want to show this off to you, but my sim is stuck in animation lag, which is fucking great, so I'm gonna have to exit for fuck's sake. Cannot do this while a sim is dying. Who is dying? Oh my god, my vampire sim is dying. Oh, for Christ's sake. She's just standing there. She's not even dying. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to get testing cheats. What a bloody nightmare video. Nothing ever goes right in a Sims 4 video that I do. Oh my god, right, now she's fucking gone. Can we exit? For Christ's sake, what a nightmare. Anyway, I can get my mermaid sim to do different interactions with, oh my god, I'm gonna have to pause because the sims are running away. Oh, she's wanting to mermaid kiss him, but she's running away from him. I'm not quite sure why. Where are we going? He's following us. us. Oh no, now he's gone away. Now we're stinky. Oh no, the animation glitch. Guys, I'm trying. We're gonna do a siren's call now. Now we can do it again. Come on, animation, don't glitch. Come on, do it. Let it happen. Please, please, please. He's coming. He's coming. Is it working? Are we getting an animation glitch or is it working? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Yes! It's working and she is dragging him under. I kind of like how the mermaids are quite scary because in real life they are supposed to be kind of scary, like beautiful but scary at the same time. Oh gosh, all of his needs are down, which is lovely. We can also do a mermaid's kiss where we literally just kiss a random sim. I don't think you have to have any romance with them. You can just do it. And you can summon an ocean threat, which is pretty cool, where they end up getting completely dragged underwater, which is literally terrifying. I honestly find things like that really scary. I love swimming, but like when I'm swimming and I can't see under the water, it is scary, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it's cool. We can also do random things like a siren's lullaby, all of which are slightly different. Inspiring Bersercuse. I thought that was a barbecue for a minute. And she does a little song and the lullaby made him feel inspired. A lot of people complain that the mermaids are really lackluster. I will admit they don't really do that much. I feel like they could have been a little bit more in depth and had a skill tree system. But the thing is, mermaids don't have their own special pack like vampires do or werewolves. So in that sense, I understand why they're not as in depth, but I think they're pretty cool. So I will say they are absolutely cool. Plant sims. So plant sims are actually pretty cool. They've existed ever since The Sims 1. In every Sims game, they've been very slightly different. Unfortunately, The Sims 4 isn't the best for plant sims. The cool thing about the plant sims is that they don't actually have a need to go to the bathroom. You can see it's just replaced with a water need to actually drink water. Although, do you know, it's a very small, tiny, insignificant thing that bugs me, but I hate how it's called the water need to like have water, but then the mermaids have a hydration need, but it's basically the exact same thing, but they're like different on the thing. In order to raise their hunger need, they don't actually have to eat, they just have to basically drink water and stay in the sun. You might think plant sims are better at gardening, but they're not really. They can talk to plants in a slightly different way to ordinary human sims, but it's basically the same, but they just don't do much. The cool thing about plant sims, by the way, in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, is that you can actually grow a plant sim baby. In The Sims 2, you can just pop a plant sim baby out like straight away from your body, like it was nothing. In The Sims 3, you can grow it as a plant through a seed, but in The Sims 4, they don't have that. I do feel like, excluding The Sims 1, because I feel like The Sims 1 doesn't count, Sims 4 plant sims are the most basic plant sims. They don't really do that much. They don't have many interactions with other sims. I don't know why you can't sprout a plant sim baby, like grow it from the seed like you could in older Sims games. In The Sims 3, as far as I'm aware, plant sims could like poison other sims. It's like a poison plant thing. They could also like clone a baby by like splicing the like plant bit of them and like cloning the plant and creating basically a clone plant baby. Like it was just so in depth. The Sims 4 ones are very basic, and although that makes me want to put them in basic bitch, unfortunately they are disgusting because they just don't really add anything to the game apart from changing the skin to green. Servos, as you can see, my servo is an absolute babe and it's dancing around. I love servos. Servos are one of my favorite occults. My favorite pack for the Sims, like of all Sims games, is Open for Business in The Sims 2, and that's where servos came from. Servos in The Sims 4 come from Discover University and you have to build them. Unfortunately, to build them, it literally takes hours and hours and hours. It is such a ball ache. And the problem with upgrading them as well is it takes too long to, because if you want to basically have all of the servo abilities, in order to do the servo abilities, you have to change the progress update and you have to like progress them, but you have to have a human sim with a high mechanic skill to do it, and it honestly takes such a long time to get all of the abilities. It's insane. Like when I say a long time, like you will have to spend literally 10 hours IRL time of just doing it in speed 3 trying to get them. There's no reason why it has to be that hard. When you enhance them, they can basically just gain skills faster. Again, thank you Sims fandom, but that's basically what it does. But it takes such a long time to do it. They also have behavior modules, which is kind of like cult abilities where they can do different things. Robo Nanny makes it so that servos autonomously care for children, which is so useful. They have a defense matrix, which makes them into an autonomous guard, which helps to attack vampires and paparazzi and get famous which is pretty cool. We all love a bit of cross-pack compatibility. That is very important when it comes to occults, I believe. And you can get them to clean and stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. In my opinion, Sims 2 servos were literally the most iconic looking servos. Look at that eyelash. I think it's so funny. The Sims 4 ones look all right. You can change their appearance to basically any color that you want, which is pretty cool. And I like that they have a social need and a fun need. They do have emotion. There are some kind of annoying things with them. I remember once I was trying to complete the Jungle Explorer animation for a servo sim that I had in a previous Let's Play, and the second goal is to eat a Salvadorian meal, and he can't because he is a servo, so I couldn't actually complete the aspiration. In that sense, like, they are a little bit annoying. I actually think servos are pretty cool. Granted, they don't like do that much, but I feel like it's okay because they came as a part of a wider expansion pack. They're not like a separate occult game pack, and I feel like the features for them are enough to make it cool. So yes, they are absolutely cool. Next we have skeletons. So this is my sim as a skeleton. Oh my god, he's got sunglasses on. What a baddie. So Sims as skeletons don't really have any like special interactions. I mean, they look pretty cool, and if other Sims click on them, they can learn a skeleton joke. But skeletons themselves, they can't really do anything. They can't even tell a skeleton joke. Like, they don't do much. You can't actually really become a permanent skeleton by normal means, so it's not a proper occult. And that's because your Sims can't really become skeletons themselves. They can as like a temporary life stage, as like a curse thing, but it doesn't really affect anything. You can see this sim is still technically a plant sim. They're just in a skeleton costume. So yeah, they literally do absolutely nothing. It's just a little thing that came with Jungle Adventures. Of course, we can't talk about skeletons without talking about Bonehilda. The thing about Bonehilda, in previous Sims game, you summoned her via a coffin where you'd ring a bell and she'd come out. But in The Sims 4, she comes out as like a seance. A lot of people complained about it, that you have to do a seance to summon Bonehilda. She doesn't just come out of a coffin. I don't really care. I don't look into it that deeply. Oh my god, the Saints was interrupted. Are we not getting Bonehilda anymore? Excuse me. We need Bonehilda for the fucking B-roll, so get her back now, please. Is she gonna come? Is she coming? Here she comes. Just as the other skeleton, it's not really an occult Bonehilda. She's just like a random normal sim, if you know what I mean. Like, the Bonehilda thing is just a costume. She will autonomously look after the children. She will autonomously clean, but you can't do that much with her. I think it's a little bit annoying the way you do have to summon her as a level 3 seance person, but I think it's a cool change. It's not that bad. It's just not that deep. Therefore, skeletons in general, I will say they are craptacular. So spellcasters, obviously the cool thing about spellcasters is that they have different kinds of magic. We have practical magic, which is basically just like repairing things, cleaning things, copying things, which is extremely OP, by the way. Mischief magic, which speaks for itself. Untamed magic, which is basically like almost killing Sims, but not really, because the Sims will have to remain child friendly. And then we have alchemy, which is just potion making. I would say it's pretty in-depth, to be fair. A lot of people don't like Realm of Magic, a lot of other Sims YouTubers, and I honestly don't know why. Whenever other Sims YouTubers talk about it, they always say like they don't like it, and I don't get it. Obviously, because it comes from a very specific occult pack, it comes with a lot of stuff. So we've got Spellcaster perks, which is like abilities, all of which cost talent points, which you have to build up, which is so cool. You have to learn the different spells by completely different means. There's so many things about this pack. Of course, the Realm of Magic world is really cool as well. I also love how spellcasters in The Sims 4 can have familiars. By adding a pet to our household, we can bind the pet as a familiar, so the dog is now basically our familiar. The familiars kind of act like a backup aid for your Sims. I think it's pretty cool. I will say one thing I do miss from The Sims 2 and Sims 3 is having witches, because spellcasters aren't really the same as witches, are they? I guess they're similar in basically in terms of what they can do, and The Sims 4 is a lot more in depth, but what I do miss is the idea of having like a good witch or a bad witch, because in The Sims 4 spellcasters are all basically the same. There's no like good or bad spellcaster. There's no morality system with them. You also can't basically dress them up as a traditional witch in like a pointy hat and a big crooked nose, and I really like that old stereotype of traditional witches, so it is a little bit disappointing that you can't specifically have that in The Sims 4. But for what it's worth, I do think the spellcasters are quite in depth, so I will say they are absolutely cool. Vampires. All right, obviously this vampire needs to get in the house right now before she dies, because that's right, vampires can't be in the sun. one. I honestly think vampires are like the coolest Sims occult to ever exist. Is that a controversial opinion? They can just do so much cool stuff. I love how she can like drink plasma from other Sims, including Bonehilda. I don't know how she can drink from Bonehilda because she's all bone. She literally has no blood. So I don't know what's going on there, but she can do it if she wants to. I also like how you can have plasma fruit, so you can have basically like a vegan plasma vampire, which is kind of funny. Of course, as with spellcasters, we have the skill tree system, which is incredibly in-depth, and they don't just get all the powers at once. You have to actually earn them, which I like. The only thing about vampires is that they are a very selfish cult in that they don't really have many interactions with other kinds of Sims other than to drink their blood. Especially since the Sims seem hyped up so much about there's this big conflict between werewolves and vampires. There's not much you can really do between them. If I drink from a werewolf Sim, my Sim actually gets angry and they're disgusted because it tastes like dog water, which is kind of funny. And they can also do a supernatural smackdown where they basically have a fight in their occult forms, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I guess it's kind of cool, but there's not really much cross-pack compatibility with vampires and other Sims other than that. But I would say vampires are a really in-depth occult, to be fair. There is a lot that you can do with them. I am going to pop them in sultry. I would say vampires are my personal favourite occult. Of course, leading on to the werewolves, the most recently released one, werewolves probably have the most features. As with everything else, they have a skill tree system. They also have dormant abilities, which like special abilities you unlock in special ways. They have special kind of temperaments, which are basically traits which affect your fury, which increases the chance of you becoming a werewolf in fury. The most interesting thing about werewolves is the social system, because obviously they have a hierarchy where you can become different levels of a werewolf, which affect your social standing in the werewolf group. She's not a part of a werewolf pack, but you can be in one. There's also something to work towards, which is to be a pack leader, which I think is cool. I do wish you could create your own custom werewolf pack. That does annoy me that you can't create your own custom one. You have to use the 2 default ones. But for what it's worth, werewolves are pretty cool. And needless to say, like the werewolf cast is amazing as well. Like they're really in depth. Granted, they don't look like werewolves. I will have to deduct points because they literally look like tigers. They don't even look like fucking werewolves. So because of that, yes, they are more feline than canine, and we will have to deduct points. But I would say werewolves are probably literally the most in-depth occult, just above vampires, just because they have the kind of social system. Again, unfortunately, I will say they don't have much cross-pack compatibility, especially with dogs, which surprises me. Yeah, they can howl with dogs, but that's basically it. They can't really like talk or communicate with them, which I thought they should have been able to be honest. I also thought it would have been pretty cool if you could like have the cats fight with the werewolves or something, because cats and dogs don't like each other stereotypically. But in general, I will say they are sultry. It looks like we have no basic bitch occults. As you can see, I put most of them in the top levels, and that's because in The Sims 4, occults are probably the best occults we've ever had in any Sims game. Granted, we have the least amount of occults. Like in terms of Sims occults, there are so many, and The Sims 4 barely has any. If you want to see me rank every single Sims occult from every single Sims game, let me know down below, because I would honestly love to give that a go. I do have a playlist full of random tier lists and rankings that I've done in The Sims 4, so make sure you check out another one here. See you in the next one.